My name is Mira. I am 20 years old. I used to believe that people were good, that if you were kind, the world would be kind to you in return. But life has a way of proving you wrong. It started when I lost my job. I had been working at a small bookstore for 3 years, scraping by on minimum wage, but I loved it. The smell of old pages, the quiet hum of customers flipping through novels, it felt like home. Then, one morning, my boss sat me down and said they were shutting down. Profits were too low, and the rent was too high. I'm so sorry. Mira, she said, eyes full of pity. You were a wonderful employee. That was supposed to make me feel better, I think. It didn't. I walked home in a daze, clutching my last paycheck. It wouldn't even cover next month's rent. The first few weeks weren't too bad. I applied for jobs, kept myself busy, but rejection emails piled up and my savings shrank. Soon, my fridge was almost empty. One night, I sat on my couch, scrolling through job postings, stomach growling. My phone buzzed. Ethan, haven't seen you in a while? You okay? Ethan was an old friend from high school. We weren't close anymore, but I found myself replying, "Me, not really." Lost my job. Struggling to find something else. A few minutes later, my phone rang. "You should have told me," he said. "Listen, I know someone who can help." His voice had this strange mix of excitement and hesitation. "It's unconventional, but the pay is insane. You'd be set for months." I should have asked more questions. I should have been cautious, but I was desperate, okay? I said. "Tell me more." Ethan took me to a small cafe the next afternoon. A man was already waiting for us at a corner table. Mid-40s, sharp suit, watch that probably cost more than my rent. He introduced himself as Jordan. Ethan shot me a reassuring look. "Mira's smart. She just needs an opportunity." Jordan smiled. "I can offer that." He slid a thick envelope across the table. "This is yours if you say yes." I hesitated before picking it up. My fingers trembled as I opened it. Stacks of crisp $100 bills. More money than I had ever seen in my life. I swallowed. "What's the job?" Jordan leaned in. "You just deliver packages. No questions asked." Something in his tone made my stomach twist. "Is it illegal?" He didn't answer right away. Just smiled. "It's nothing dangerous." I looked at Ethan. He gave me a small nod. It felt like standing on the edge of a cliff, toes curling over the drop. I thought about my empty fridge, my unpaid bills. I thought about how tired I was of struggling. "Okay," I whispered. It was easy. Almost too easy. Every few days, I'd get a text with an address. I'd pick up a small package, sometimes a box, sometimes just an envelope and drop it off somewhere else. A house, a parking garage, a locker at the train station. No one ever stopped me. No one ever asked questions. And the money kept coming. For the first time in months, I wasn't afraid to check my bank account. I filled my fridge with fresh food, paid my rent early, bought a new coat to replace my old, tattered one. I told myself it wasn't that bad, that I wasn't hurting anyone. Then came the night everything changed. Jordan asked to meet in person. That was unusual. Usually, everything was done through texts. I met him in the back of a quiet bar. He was already waiting, a glass of whiskey in hand. "This next job is different," he said. "A little more hands-on." My throat tightened. How different? He slid another envelope across the table. "There's a man. He owes us. He's late on his payments." I didn't move. Jordan sighed, taking a slow sip of his drink. "All I need you to do is deliver a message." I exhaled. "Okay." He smiled. "Good girl." I picked up the envelope. It was thinner than usual. When I opened it, my stomach dropped. Inside was a single photograph of a man and a small knife. I looked up. "What?" Jordan's gaze was calm. A warning. Just a small cut. Something to remind him not to be late again. I felt sick. I can't do that." Jordan's smile didn't fade. "You already said yes." My hands shook as I pushed the envelope back. "Find someone else?" His expression didn't change, but something in the air did. The room felt colder. "You've been paid well, Mira." His voice was soft, almost gentle. "You don't get to walk away." I realized then that this was never just a job. It was a trap, and I had walked right into it. I stood outside the man's apartment for what felt like hours. The city buzzed around me, neon lights flickering, people laughing as they passed. I could leave, run, but where? I had taken their money, delivered their packages. Even if I hadn't known everything, I had known enough. They wouldn't let me go. I looked down at the knife in my shaking hand. This was it. The moment that decided everything. I knocked. A man in his late 30s opened the door. Tired eyes. A little kid's toys scattered behind him. He blinked at me. Yeah. My pulse pounded. I opened my mouth and lead. "They sent me," I said, "but I don't want to do this." His face went pale. Shit. He ran a hand through his hair. I knew this was coming. I swallowed. "They said it was just a warning." He let out a shaky breath, looking at the knife. "And you're not gonna do it?" I shook my head. He studied me for a long moment. Then he pulled out his wallet, hands trembling, and shoved a wad of cash into my palm. Tell them I got the message. I stared at the money. This was my way out. I could go back and say the job was done, that the message was delivered. A lie wrapped in just enough truth to be believable. I nodded, stuffed the money in my pocket, turned and walked away. That night, I sat on my bed, staring at the ceiling. My chest was tight, my mind racing. I had crossed a line, not the one they wanted, but a line nonetheless. I wasn't the same girl who had walked into that cafe. I told myself I had done the right thing. So, why did it feel like I had lost something anyway? I didn't sleep. And in the morning, when my phone buzzed with another job, I didn't ignore it. Because once you step into the dark, it never really lets you go.